Hey guys, since we didn't get to do this live, I am going to show you guys now on a tutorial video. This is the Fluttering heart card, and when you pull the cord, the heart spins, and then you're just going to wind it back around and then it's ready to go again. It's a really simple card, but it's a lot of fun. I've been playing with it a lot. So, very cute, very easy. And then on the inside we have actually cut cardstock, because you can go and make this and make it smaller and flatten this for print and cut. But I wanted a 5x7 card, and of course that's outside of the print and cut area, but you could do it on a panel as well. I didn't like the way the hearts drew on the inside, so I put cardstock ones in the file with it. So as you can see, they were just kind of wonky just a little bit, and they didn't look like that when I was looking at the file and the images. So anyway, and I have lost my I used washi tape to transfer that so that they would stay in line, but I had to move it around so much from, I'm just going to glue them on. You can usually transfer it immediately, but because I had to move it around so much, I've kind of lost it there. And because washi tape, we all know, is not really sticky, but it's enough to transfer. So I'm just going to lay everything back on there, and we'll get some glue and put that on and give it time to be drying. While we work on the card. Hopefully I can get everything lined back up, and here's my eye. That looks pretty good. So I'm just going to take, and you can run these through as I run if you want and do them that way, but I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. And it looks like I'm clogging up. I don't have my fine tip on here, and that's probably why. There we go. I don't want to unclog it completely because it'll come out so fast, and I don't want a whole lot. This is art glitter glue. You can get this from Art Glitter. There's no glitter in it. It's just dries matte, clear. So if you're a messy gluer like I am, you don't have to worry about it. It'll be okay. Just trying to get all these little bitty small tails. If you have the fine tip applicator on there, it's really fine, and it will cover these really good without making a mess like I'm making here. I'm gonna kind of spread that out a little bit. I just don't want my letters lifting up. There we go. I'm going to live with that. So then I've got them on my washi tape. I'm going to bring it in and center it up on my card. I'm just going to press it down. It may not be center, but it's going to be center enough. And then I'm just going to pull that washi tape back while it's still damp, so I have time to maneuver or change anything that I didn't get on there right. If you transferred yours immediately, yours didn't move, so you're good. So got that on there. And then you've got all these little pieces. As I told you in the previous video, in the sneak peek, you're going to need some of the foam dots or rounds. You're going to need those. These are 7/16 of an inch. That's what I used here. You're going to need one of the, this has got like a 1/4 inch head on this brad, and then the blue pieces in the file you're going to cut out of acetate or foil acetate, whatever you have, and then of course your cardstock. This large one goes on the front. That white one goes on the front. This large one, or next, the second largest, is going to go inside the card here because I just didn't like the way that they did. And then you have 6 of these size. This is the next size down. You don't want the itty bitty ones. Those are for your twine pull. Just going to put a little glue on these. And that's going to give this time to dry while we work on the mechanism. And that's the inside of the card. So the next thing we want to do is line these up. And I'm trying to remember the best of my recollection. Yes. You're going to glue your red panel to the black panel and make sure that that hole in them lines up. And that you get it on there. Pretty square. And then we're going to take the white panel and we're going to glue that one on as well. Just like so. And this black paper is from my Mind's Eye. It's like the Swiss Dot, or it's called My Colors cardstock, the Black Eyed Susan. It's just got a little bit of a texture to it. I kind of like that peeping out. Just going to pull that label off. Give that a second to dry. And then the next thing you want to do, if I don't lose it, I didn't cut a hole in mine, but the file does have the hole cut in it. You're just going to put your brad into the acetate. Then we are going to, and that's just so the brad doesn't wear out the acetate there. We don't want that to happen. And then you're going to take this acetate and run that one over it as well. And this will be easier for you because there's a hole. We're just going to do that. Next, you are going to take one of your foam squares, and it's stuck to my finger. You're actually going to get 2 of them. And we're just going to, oops, I almost messed up. I forgot, I changed the way I did this. You're going to leave them on your sheet. And then I'm using my True Control knife. Just going to set this to the side for a minute. And I'm just going to pierce a hole. You can use your piercing tool. I kind of like the True Control because the brad is a little wider than just a hole. And I'm just going to cut a hole in 2 of these. Just small, just enough to get it over that brad. And then I'm going to take one of them with the sticky side down. But you want the sticky to stick on the top of this piece of acetate, your first one. So you're just going to push it right down over it and let it stick. And then you're going to remove the protective covering off of it so you have a sticky side there as well. Then you want to get your cord. And I cut this about 12, 13. Well, this one's actually about 24 inches long. You don't need that much. It's up to you, whatever you want, how much you want the cord to pull out. Totally up to you. I'm going to say no less than about 12 or 13 inches because you're going to snip some off. And you're just going to put it on there and tie it around that brad and knot it. Get a good knot on it. And then we're just going to snip it off any overhang, and that's why I cut mine a little long so you can have room to do that. Then you're going to take that second foam dot, there's my hole, and you're going to place it right over it, sticking them together. And then you're going to peel off that protective cover. Then your red heart with the hole in it, just going to place it over there and stick it down. Let it stick to that and open up your brad. And you don't want to get it too tight. Make sure that it's still able to spin. A little snug, but you don't have to put it so tight that it won't move. Okay? And you can see that it's moving back here. We're all good. And then you can glue down this heart. And you can cut this out of foil or anything. Emboss it. Have something written on it. I'm just going to stick it right down to cover the tails of the brad. And that's a little long. I don't want it to pull out that far. Let's see how far that this one actually comes out. It's about 10 inches. This one has ended up about 10 inches. So I'm just going to take this one out. And I'm just going to cut that one off right about the same spot. It might be a little longer, and that'll be fine. But I think that first one I did cut it like 13 inches, and then after I cut it off from tying the knot and everything, it was fine. And just going to put a dot or two of glue. That's a little more than a dot or two, isn't it? Just going to hold it down with my pokey tool. Going to lay that cord right in there. Get it in that glue. And then I'm going to place the other one on top. You probably do want to use glue here instead of a tape runner because you want to be able to get those and squish them flat and center them up. And we all know a tape runner, when you stick it, it sticks. And then I'm just going to hold it down and let it dry for a couple minutes. You don't want to go pulling on it till it's good and dry. And then before we glue this to the card itself, I'm going to wind it up, make sure it works. And you can do that too. You can wind it up and see where that heart lands before, to see where your cord ends, and then put your heart on there if you want to. But then when we pull it, I'm tangled. There we go. I tangled mine. It went too deep. You're supposed to wrap around. I pushed mine in between the card and the, don't have it stuck down good. Bend those brads just a little bit more. I promise it does work. There we go. I have it too tight. So in that case, if you get it too tight, just take your pokey tool and just kind of gently push up on those brad legs. Give yourself a little bit of space. That should do it. There we go. And that's all you got to do. I just pushed up on those brad legs, just up under there, just a little bit. You're not going to hurt it. And it should be fine. Yay. So if yours isn't spinning, my brad legs are too tight. Just loosen them up a little bit. So now we have that ready to go. Only thing left to do is put those two hearts on. We're going to use the dots. Now when you glue this panel on, I stayed about 1 inch away from my mechanism just to give it plenty of room to move without being stuck. Right up next to it, so give the card a little bit of play there. I'm just going to place it right on the top. Add some little bit of fibers on my black card, and it's showing. Let's see if I can get them off before it gets too dry. There we go. I need a new blade. That's what that is. So we're just going to press that down. Still giving that plenty of play in there. That's why we didn't glue it down. And then you can use, you could even use 2 rhinestones glued together for the pull. Whatever you want. We're just going to pop a couple of these small ones right here. You could use wobbles on these. It's a pretty quick, easy card. A lot of fun. These dot things hate me. Can you tell? There it goes. I only stabbed him 100 times. There we go. And let's stick that one down. There you go, guys. That's all there is to making that card. Super simple, super fun. You can use, and I was going to mention this. I mentioned it, I believe, to Sue. This would be so cute with like a record right there. And maybe a QR code that we talked about in the other video that takes you to the song. You know, Right Round. Whatever the name of that song. I can't even think of it now. I'm drawing a blank. Spin Me Around. That would be so cute. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Enjoy the file. This is a Patreon only file. It is going to be found on the exclusives tab on the site. I'll leave that information below. You guys enjoy the file. Have a wonderful day. If you're not a Patreon, please consider supporting me on Patreon. This card is for the $5 tier and up. And I will see you guys on the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and give a thumbs up. You have a wonderful day.